Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Always a pleasure to rise on behalf of the people of Winnipeg South Centre. Mr. Speaker, the Spring Economic Update, much like the budget, is a wonderful exercise in the democratic process. It's an opportunity not only for the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance to report back to Canadians and indicate the direction of the government, but it's also an opportunity through a variety of different iterations, Mr. Speaker, for grassroots Canadians, constituents, to convey their needs, their wants, the opportunities that exist in our country back to those that represent them, such as myself here in Ottawa. And for me, Mr. Speaker, I try to create time every week, whether I'm in Ottawa or Winnipeg, to sit down with those that I represent to have a conversation, whether that's through email correspondence, a phone call, in-person meetings, at events. It's an opportunity for them, Mr. Speaker, to connect with me and to help understand what they want to be told on their behalf here on the floor of the House of Commons. And today's speech, Mr. Speaker, for me will be framed around one question, which is what builds a strong community. And for me and many that I represent, Mr. Speaker, it's about connection of people and places. And more specifically, Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about opportunity, belonging, and stability. And I'm going to start with sport. You know, Mr. Speaker, I was extremely privileged and blessed as a young person growing up in Winnipeg South Centre to have been raised in a community filled with people who wanted to give back. And I'm thinking of my coaches in baseball, John Matus and Ray Alley, or my coaches in football, John Ramu and Jerry Urbanovich, who gave so much back to my teammates and I. And they taught us about the importance of teamwork, leadership, and perseverance. Mr. Speaker, sport brings us together. It creates a sense of belonging. Like the arts, it is a practice of expression. It's a reflection of us back to others. In addition to a deep sense of belonging, Mr. Speaker, sport is critically important from the perspective of both our physical and mental health. I can remember, Mr. Speaker, having the privilege of being the head coach of the Kelvin Clippers football team, where I myself had been a player in high school, and working with a number of students who came from difficult situations, whether that was conflict in the home, perhaps a lack of success in what we would have traditionally deemed to be successful in the confines of a classroom, or just looking for something to belong to. Sport, particularly team sport, was an avenue for them to grow, to develop, to be a part of something bigger than themselves, but to do so, Mr. Speaker, in a way that also contributed positively to their mental and physical health. So, Mr. Speaker, the Spring Economic Update's announcement of an investment of $755 million, a monumental and generational investment in not just Canadian athletes, but participants in sport across the country, is going to be a game changer that brings about a healthier sense of belonging in our communities. Mr. Speaker, I want to turn now to opportunity. And I recently met with Fred Meyer, who is the president of Red River College Polytechnic in my hometown of Winnipeg. And alongside Fred, I had the opportunity to chat with a number of members of their faculty associations. And one of the things that they raised, Mr. Speaker, is the existence, unfortunately, still of a stigma that exists in our country around the trades. Mr. Speaker, there is a belief among some that the only path to prosperity through higher education can come through traditional programming at universities. Mr. Speaker, this could not be further from the truth. Not only are the trades and the skilled workers that occupy the positions within that domain, are they valuable jobs in terms of being able to help people prosper economically and financially, but it's also critical to the growth of our country. And what young people in this country need right now, Mr. Speaker, vis-a-vis the trades, is opportunity. And the government's growth agenda is going to help them realize that. As we build a strong Canada, Mr. Speaker, we need to allow for there to be the development of a strong workforce that will help to support many of the major projects and critical infrastructure developments that we are catalyzing right now. So, Mr. Speaker, in the context of the spring economic update specifically, there were a number of measures that I was very pleased to see that I think are going to make a significant difference for folks on the ground in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and beyond across the country. Inclusive of those, Mr. Speaker, are up to $16,000 over the course of about 4 years for somebody who is in training to become a skilled worker in the trades. This financial incentive is critical for folks who are trying to balance their education with the financial responsibilities that they have in their lives. This type of incentive is going to ensure that we retain people throughout that educational process, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in addition to that, one of the things that we see in this particular part of the Spring Economic Update statement regarding the skilled trades is supports for small and medium-sized businesses to hire apprenticeship. To allow for apprentices to have opportunities. Mr. Speaker, I was very proud a number of years ago to be the principal of the Maples Met High School, and one of the things that was amazing about this school is that on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the kids would be in class doing project-based learning, but on Tuesday and Thursday, they would go out into the community doing internships. And often these internships, Mr. Speaker, would take place with the leaders of small, medium-sized businesses who would help them understand what the pathway was towards a profession in the trades. We are going to be creating an agency government-wide, Mr. Speaker, that's going to help facilitate that process whereby business owners, educational institutions, and those who are wanting to join the profession are going to be able to work collaboratively to see an advancement of those opportunities. Inclusive as well, Mr. Speaker, of the opportunity in trades is a $5,000 incentive upon the completion of a red seal. Mr. Speaker, one thing I would like to see us move on is some conversations between the federal government and provincial governments in order to make sure that we are aligned on helping to create that opportunity for young people. It's often as early as grades 8, 9, and 10 that people know that they want to begin to explore the spaces around the skilled trades, and the more closely that we can be aligned across the country to creating those pathways, the stronger I believe we're going to be, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, I want to also talk about the importance of stability in building a strong community. In my hometown of Winnipeg, there is a significant crisis ongoing in relation to mental health, addiction, and homelessness. We have announced a continuation, Mr. Speaker, of a $125 million investment in unsheltered homelessness and encampment initiatives. And just last week in my office here in Winnipeg, in Ottawa, rather, Mr. Speaker, I sat down with some executives from the Canadian Mental Health Association, the Manitoba chapter, who talked to me about how critically important the investments in this fund have been to providing particularly wraparound services. So when we talk about dealing with the mental health and addiction crisis and those who are currently unsheltered or living on the streets, Mr. Speaker, we have to focus not just on creating housing, but creating stable housing that also is supported by a variety of different resources, whether that be addiction treatment options, social workers, psychologists and psychiatrists, peers who are going through similar situations that can build strong bonds within community to help people through these very difficult aspects of their journey. So, Mr. Speaker, that $125 million is a significant investment. But in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, it builds on top of the $5 billion health infrastructure announcement that we made in the last budget. And I'm working very closely with my colleagues on the ground in Winnipeg, Mr. Speaker, and other stakeholders to make sure that these funds go towards building these types of wraparound services that will comprehensively and collaboratively create the type of supports that people in Winnipeg need right now. Mr. Speaker, I started this speech talking about the importance of connection between people and places. The connection to our natural environment is critical. And the last thing I'll say, Mr. Speaker, is that I'm very proud to have seen reflected in the spring economic statement, the insights, the feedback, the guidance that those I represent in Winnipeg South Centre had given me, inclusive of the environment. And Mr. Speaker, right before you stand up, I'll just finish by saying that it's investments like the $75 million in the Seal River watershed in northern Manitoba that speak very much to that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments.